No pressure, yeah, this is well, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this at all. I'm used to rambling for hours, so you're very lucky. So I changed what I was going to say tonight, what I was going to talk about tonight at the last minute, which about 25 minutes ago, well, 25 minutes before I left the house, I changed it all. And so it might be rubbish now, but it was pretty boring before. But no, the reason why I changed it is because I was going to do talk on resilience, like Joe was saying, but I thought, you know, probably the demographic here is probably, I'm going to be teaching sort of ground tech eggs really, so probably quite a few resilient people in the room. Whereas when you're talking to kids, you know, obviously there's a lot you can sort of give kids in terms of knowledge and understanding resilience. But something that piqued my interest over the last 6 months, I'll explain why, is storytelling. And my background is in, I started off as a journalist a long time ago. I worked with a news agency, and then I got into tech, and it's a long story. I ended up running a few tech businesses, working in internet advertising. I ran an internet advertising business, worked with Google, worked with a lot of big players. And so stories have been a sort of the craft of telling stories. A lot of my friends are documentary filmmakers. Craft of telling stories have played a big part in my life. But lately, I've been, and probably everyone in the room can sort of echo this, I've been pretty overwhelmed by the amount of stories just coming at me. You know, the amount of news, and I'm used to sort of hearing stories. And stories have an incredible effect on us. Baroness Greenfield, who's a neuropsychologist, says that once upon a time is the most powerful sentence, because the next thing you hear after that, your brain is immediately attuned to trying to figure out whether the thing's going to kill you or not. Right? You know, through the ages, we've used stories as a way of conveying danger. And, you know, for instance, it might be the wolf, it might be the dragon, you know, whatever it is. So, and we can use stories to convey knowledge, we can use stories to convey how we feel about things, beauty, and all sorts of reasons. But one of the ways that we are using stories now is quite dangerous, and we're all guilty of it. Because anyone who's got a smartphone in the room, okay, we tend to skip over things now. So if I go back to this, did anyone knows that story? Do you know that one? Okay, so the story is Aesop's Fables. Basically, the oak is sort of being all sort of big-headed and saying, "No, I'm an oak tree. You know, I'm the biggest thing in the forest." And the weeds go, "Well, you're not all that, you know." And then a big storm comes along, blows the oak tree over, and the reeds just sort of being resilient. It's a story about resilience, right? So it's the reeds just bending. So, as a way of teaching kids, you know, that it's better to bend than to break, you know, it's a thing about resilience, and that was in the resilience presentation. Now, one of the things we do now is we junk food consume stories. We have stories, we don't even have them. It was bad enough sort of 10 years ago, 15 years ago when 24-hour news came on. But you can kind of ignore 24-hour news, you know, you can kind of comes along and just hits you, and you can go, you can turn it off, ignore it, stand and watch it in the bank as you wait for something. But with this, what happens is you pick up your phone, and you start doing this, and your brain is immediately, just like the Once Upon a Time thing, it's immediately firing in this junk into your brain. And I know this because I've worked on a lot of these platforms. And these are incredibly powerful platforms, incredibly pervasive platforms. They have a huge reach, and we're all guilty of, you know, staying up too late, reading the rubbish on Facebook and reading the rubbish on Instagram. And they aren't stupid. They have employed psychologists to make you do it. And the amount of time that we spend doing it is actually now having a big effect on our society. So a really big effect. And what happens is we become more superficial. We become less interested in the deeper stories, the underlying stories, the perhaps the reasoning behind it. So we tend to be less considered when we're thinking about stories. And it's all to do with the speed of consumption and how much we do consume. And it's a propaganda problem. So this is Nepalese mountain people. So, and I'll be very quick because I don't have much time, but Nepalese mountain people, on the turn of the last century, Nepalese government, the royal family, sorry, they decided that the Nepalese people weren't working hard enough. So what they did was they put in newspaper stories about Nepalese mountain people stealing, right? This wasn't true, they just started reporting it. And sure enough, Nepalese mountain people can come down to the cities for hundreds of years, no problem at all. Suddenly they couldn't find any work because everyone thought they were criminals. So they divided the populace of Nepal, and sure enough, because they couldn't find work, they started stealing. And then the papers started reporting them stealing, and so on and so on and so on, until it created an underclass. And the reason why the royal family did that, they learned from the British. They learned from the British that if you create an underclass, everyone in the economy will be more motivated to work harder. This is the newsroom I used to work in, and the guys in this newsroom, that's the guy there is Og, and the guys in this newsroom, all the journalists there, they've all got mortgages, they've got bills to pay, they've all got. That guy's in charge. He, do you remember there was a murder in Bristol a long time ago? A girl was murdered over Christmas. Do you remember that? So you remember there was a film about a guy who got wrongly accused. He basically started that rumour, and then got a hold of the media behind it, and kicked it all off. And that's the power of kind of these, the media. But where we're going now is we're going from editors like Og to filters, micro-targeting. Now, does anyone know what micro-targeting means? Okay. So micro-targeting is Og on steroids, right? So what would happen is Og would put a story out, or let's say you're going to do some propaganda. You put some propaganda out, and then you put a survey out to measure the effect of the propaganda. Right now, on your Facebook feeds or your Instagram feeds, that's happening every time you go past a news story. Every time you go past and it creates feedback loops. Now, people who click on likes and things like that on their Facebook feeds and on Instagram feeds, you will find that then you get more of the same stuff. So you get an echo chamber. And you get an echo chamber of stuff which makes you more riled, right? So if I'm being political, but if you get left-wing propaganda, it makes you more kind of like left-wing. We're going to get riled about the right-wingers. And the right-wing on the other side, they're exactly the same. They get more riled about the left-wingers, right? And in the same way this happened in Nepal, and it's happened in Rwanda, and happened in a lot of countries all over the world where news has divided people. I mean, I can't think of any topic really that's divided a lot of people in this country recently, can you? And what can we do about it, right? Because it's quite depressing. You think, oh, jeez, it's too depressing. What we can do about it, right, is we can do that. We can read more books. We can be more considered. We can not pick up the phone and go through the thing and get angry and then stop listening to LBC and all the kind of, just be more considered and take the time and ruminate. Thank you.